And welcome everybody to another Mark Bishop show. This is an interesting one. New Year's money resolutions are for all ages, including younger generations. And it's with that in mind, I'm going to have a special guest very soon who's a financial literacy advocate and journalist, Bobbi Rebell. But financial conversations, they used to be strictly between grown-ups, if you remember. But times have definitely changed. In fact, a recent survey from the C.S. Mott Children's Hospital at the University of Michigan found that kids ages 11 to 18, they're setting their own financial goals. So parents, the new year is a great time to make real-world money lessons for your children a priority. And our guest is here with some advice how to do that. Joining us to share how you, good parents, can help your children achieve your money goals or their money goals, because that's important too. She's a certified financial planner and author of a very successful book called Launching Financial Grown-Ups. Bobbi Rebell. Good morning, Bobbi.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for highlighting this important topic for us to talk about today.
What do you think the biggest challenge is then for parents when it comes to, starting the good old money conversation with their children?
Well, you said it, Mark. The challenge is starting the conversation. It's really hard because it's very rare. In fact, I have never, and I talk about this topic a lot, obviously, I don't think I've ever seen a child come up to a parent and say, let's find a time I would like to learn about money. They might say, let's find a time for you to give me money to buy something, but they rarely are going to do it. And parents get busy with the day-to-day life. So what I highly recommend is find a way to weave it into whatever you're already doing that's going to make sense, that's going to be interesting and engaging for your child, where they're going to feel like a stakeholder.
Okay, so Bobbi, how can parents, be more upfront with their children then about the family finances, and I guess it's to help those children gain some financial literacy?
Yeah, and a lot of parents are shy about this because they don't want to expose their own financial weaknesses, but it's really, I hate to say, it's not about you, it's really about them, because especially when let's start talking about younger kids. When younger kids, their world is really very much focused on themselves. They're not necessarily going to be asking you, well, did you pay the insurance bill on time or whatever it may be, right? They're interested in their micro world. So, for example, so you look for moments. So I had, when my son was in elementary school, he would get, and a lot of kids get this little gift, $5, $10, $15 check we would get at the time from relatives. And originally I would just deposit them, and we would have the painful process of writing a thank you note, right? Mm-hmm. And children today, they're on computers and phones. It's horrible. They have horrible handwriting. You know what I'm talking about. And it was just painful. And so we came up with this where when we would get these checks, we would go to our local Chase branch. We were in New York City at the time, and he would film a little video saying, let's say, thank you, Aunt Carol, for this gift. I am going to put it in my savings account, and this is what I'm saving for, and I'm really excited for that, and I'll keep you posted on how my progress goes. And by the way, kids can have a Chase First banking account as young as age 6. So little kids can do this. And I would film him, and he would make the deposit after saying that little bit to the camera, and the Chase tellers got a huge kick out of it. They would wave to the camera, he'd give a thumbs up, and then we would send that. And it was a way for him to understand that he was saving, and for him, frankly, it was kind of a reward because he didn't have to do the actual thank you note, which he did not want to do. Wow. So it sort of was a fun thing that motivated him, and he didn't really realize that I was secretly teaching him about money and saving. And
aren't you clever, you sneaky thing, you. How cute that is. Well, let's face it, the start of the new year, it's often filled with optimism. We envision getting our physical, mental, and financial health all on track all at once, by the way. And those goals are mutually exclusive. Now, but a new survey reveals, this is interesting, 88% of Americans apparently believe their financial health affects their overall happiness. That's a huge percentage, Bobbi, isn't it?
It is a huge percentage, but that's the truth. It is always top of mind, our finances, and it's something that we, if we don't pay attention to, we don't teach our children about, it's going to weigh on the whole family. And so it's important to have these family conversations about money, especially as kids get older. We talked about younger kids, but when you get to be teenagers, you get to have teenagers and kids going into college. Then the stakes are real. It's the story I just shared with you is adorable, but it's like real stakes when a kid has to, have a car, real responsibility. How are you going to have them pay for, let's say, gasoline? Are they going to have a credit card? Are they going to understand, the consequences for that? So it's really important to get them involved in more formal lessons about money and age-appropriate tools, like having a Chase high school checking account. And then when they go to college, it evolves to a Chase college checking. And I say this because it's important that they be life stage appropriate, so that you have the digital banking tools and bill pay, because you want them, you don't want to pay their bills for them. You want them, even if, by the way, even if they're not in a job, people might say, well, I'm paying for my kids' college. Fine. Have them pay the bill themselves, because you know what? If they see that tuition check and they see how big that is, they're going to appreciate it that much more. They should understand that you are paying separately for their cafeteria lunch or whatever it is. They're not going to just sleep through lunch and then buy lunch separately. If they see, wait, my parents have paid for this meal, I'm going to show up. It makes it more tangible when they are using digital tools to pay for themselves. And by the way, we do have to meet them. I talked about the physical check, but the truth is, we are a digital society. So, the Chase mobile app is really effective in helping kids, especially when they're older, understand what's going on and visualize. And by the way, you can check in on what they're doing too.
That is important. Well, it is the beginning of the second semester for high school and college students. I mean, parents, what can they do right now to help this age group of students develop good financial habits, do you think?
Well, it's important, like I said, to develop those habits. One thing you can do is open up a conversation about credit. So, for example, as they get older, it's super important to have them understand how credit works. You want them, that you mentioned, second semester. By now, they're starting to have maybe more specific things that they're settled into school, and they have things that they're paying for. Empower them by having, a credit card that they can use, and they can pay the bill themselves. And by doing that, they'll start developing their own credit history. And by the way, one of the important things is duration of credit when your credit score happens. You can put them on a shared credit card that's going to give them, your history as well as theirs, which is going to boost their credit score and help them understand how, as they become financial grown-ups and they move through the different life stages, having a higher credit score is going to help them achieve those goals. We use Chase Credit Journey in my family because you can go right on and it specifically will show you through, a really good user interface exactly how that credit score, how that evolves, and what the different things are that will help your credit score improve. And if the credit score goes down, it's going to tell you very factually. You don't have to be the parent telling them. The app is going to tell them, this is why it went down. You didn't pay your bill on time, or you didn't pay it in full, or you spent more money, so your utilization went up, whatever it may be. It lays it out there very clearly. And from that, you as a parent can have that conversation using that information as a jumping off point.
Yeah. I mean, in this day and age, as you just mentioned, with all these apps and what have you, I mean, we never had that. There's no excuse today, is there? They got all the help in the world. Talking of products and resources available to help teach important budgeting lessons, in our closing a minute here, is there anything you'd like to recommend in reference to really helping parents really, get this done with their kids? Is there anything special out there you recommend?
Yeah, I really recommend keeping things easy by automating as much as possible. Always checking on it, but for example, you can use something like Chase AutoSave to set up repeating and automatic transfers that can go right, by this age, that we were just talking about, but really it could be for any age. You can go directly from their checking to their savings account. And what's great is by having it all in one place, you can go on with your kid and you can check on it once in a while. So it's automatic, so you don't have to do anything about it, but I really recommend checking in on it, because by seeing the progress together, you can then encourage them to increase their savings. And it's going to be motivating as that number gets bigger. And it can be kind of exciting for kids because they get closer to their goals, and it's them saving, not you giving them money. And that really, as a parent, you can see the pride in a kid when you let them know that they've achieved it. They weren't just given it. It makes it a lot more impactful, and will teach them a lot about financial independence and being financial grown-ups.
Bobbi, what was the name of your book again?
Oh, my book is Launching Financial Grown-Ups. Thank you for asking. And by the way, if people want to get more information about this, go to chase.com/student banking. There's lots of great tools and information there for everyone.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you that next, where my listeners could go to get more information on the topic. And the book, of course, I guess it's on Amazon.
It's everywhere. And if you are near an independent bookseller, please go in and ask for it, because they can always order it. And we love to support small businesses.
Lovely. I can see that as a nice gift, to be honest. All right. Listen, that's very interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bobbi Rebell is a financial literacy advocate and journalist, been around the TV world and media for a long time, seen a lot of things. And this book, I think it could really help you. I'm going to get one. So look out for it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey, you're welcome. Because listen, sometimes reading things like that just helps you get the job done. You know what I mean? Good luck for the year, and keep up the good work, okay?
Thanks so much.